Good morning, everyone. Today's topic is amensalism and commensalism. So, first of all, amensalism. It is an interaction in which presence of one species does not allow the species or the individuals of other species to grow or live through the secretion of some allochemicals means one species secretes the chemicals called allochemicals, and due to the secretion of these chemicals the population or the individual of other species is not able to survive in that particular environment. So this amensalism is also called as antibiosis. For example, when penicillium is grown along with Staphylococcus bacterium. Penicillium is the fungi and Staphylococcus is the bacterium. Then penicillium does not allow the growth of Staphylococcus. Similarly, fungus Aspergillus does not grow in the presence of trichoderma. And Convolvulus arvensis. Inhibits the growth of wheat, that is the sorghum. Similarly, sunflower, barley, Do not allow weeds to grow nearby. So these are called as smoother crops. One more example. Roots of black walnut that is the Juglans nigra produce a chemical named juglone which is having toxic effect on tomato, apple and alfalfa crops. Another example, chemical secreted by Tagetes is toxic to the nematodes found in soil. So this is all about the amensalism. Means in this the chemical secreted by one species does not allow the other species to survive. And these are all examples I have given you. These are given in your book also. Then the next is positive interaction. And in the positive interaction, the two examples we have studied, that is the mutualism, or we can also say symbiosis. This we have already studied, and today we will be studying another type of positive interaction, that is the commensalism. Now commensalism is an association between two different organisms or species in which one is always benefited but the other is neither benefited nor harmed. But sometimes host also derives some benefit. Although when the two organisms or the species are in close association, one gets benefited and the other is neither benefited nor harmed, which is called as host. But sometimes host also gets some benefits. Now, the species that is benefited is called commensal and the other species is called the host. Now this benefit which the commensal species derives from the host may be in the form of food, protection, shelter, living space, or transportation. Means in close association, one species moves from one place to the other place along with the other species. So it is getting benefit of getting transported also. So now different examples are there. First example is E. coli. This bacterium feeds on undigested food residue in human colon. So its presence is beneficial to the host, that is the man, because it checks growth of putrefying bacteria which causes gas in the intestine and also releases some vitamins utilized by man. So in this, the E. coli, when it is growing in the human colon, it is feeding on undigested food present in the colon, and thus getting benefited what? It is getting the benefit of getting food, and thus it is saving the human beings from the development of putrefying bacteria. Putrefying bacteria means which is partially digesting the food and causing the gas in the human intestine, and also releases some vitamins which is beneficial for human beings. So here both are getting benefited. Now E. coli is also getting benefit, also gets benefited by getting shelter along with food. So E. coli, when it is surviving in the human intestine, then it is getting food and shelter, both the benefits. Similarly, another example is virus fur and cucumeria. What it is doing? Pyrspher is a small fish which lives in the cloaca of cucumeria. It lives in the cloaca of cucumeria, that is the sea cucumber. And there it gets protection from enemies and feasts on the undigested food from the fecal matter of the cucumeria. Then another example is pilot fish and shark. So pilot fish is also called as Naucratis. It swims along with the shark, and when the shark is feeding, the fallen food particles are used by pilot fish. So this pilot fish also gets benefited from shark by getting the food from the shark fish. Then another example is sucker fish and shark. Sucker fish is also called as remora or Ikanis. So this sucker fish gets attached to the underside of the shark by sucker formed from its dorsal fin. So its dorsal fin forms the sucker, and with this sucker it gets attached at the bottom of the shark. Now because of this association with shark, sucker fish is protected against its predators and get better food supply, and it is also getting benefited of getting transported to new places. So suckerfish, when gets attached to the shark fish at the bottom, it is getting protection, it is getting food, and it is getting transported. So all these benefits it gets when it is associated with shark. Then the next example is barnacle and whale. Barnacle is the balanus. So this barnacle remains attached to the whale and transported from one place to the other place. So this barnacle fish gets attached to the whale and gets benefit of getting transported. Then the next example is clownfish and sea anemone. So clownfish, amphiprion, percula. So clownfish is living among the tentacles of sea anemone and thus gets protected by stinging cells of their tentacles from the enemy, because the sea anemone's tentacles are stinging in nature. So this is protecting the clownfish from the enemies. So this fish lives in between the tentacles of sea anemone, and what benefit it is getting? It is getting the protection from the enemies. Then another example, Arctic fox and seal, jackals and lions. So Arctic fox follows the seal, while jackals follow lions, and whatever food is left by them, by the seal, by the lions, it is being fed by the Arctic fox and the jackals. So these follow them, means they go together with them, follow them, and when they have eaten the food, the leftover prey is being used up as for feeding by Arctic fox and the jackals. Then the next is epiphytes. So epiphytes are the plants which are found growing on surface of other plants in the tropical rainforest. So they grow on these plants for support only. They do not derive any water or food from the host plant. So orchid, some ferns and algae also show epiphytic commensalism. So epiphyte means the plant which grows on another plant. So usually in tropical forest, what happens? Tropical rainforest, what happens? The sunlight is not reaching up to the floor. So these plants, they grow on the above top canopies of the big trees, so that they can get sunlight, and so they grow on them only for support, not for any food or water. Then the next is the liners. Now liners are weak, woody, vascular plants which are rooted in the ground. The root is in the ground. They use stem and branches for support while climbing. So all the climbers which are growing into the soil and they need support of other plants to climb, such plants association is called as the liners. So all the examples of commensalism, where one species always gets benefit, other species on which is in association may get benefit, may not get benefit. So with this we will be finishing our this chapter, and I want all of you to complete the notes. Anytime your notes will be asked for correction. Thank you.